One of these days I'm going to get it right, and I'm not going to do that. But anyway, you guys, welcome to day, what is this? Day 21? 22. I'm confused. Anyway, whatever day it is, we're nearing the end of February, and it's unfortunately for me, it cannot come fast enough because I'm wiped out. But yeah, today is the 22nd, which is like, it's like 2/22/22. And then tonight at 10 what it's going to be like 22/20 at 22 minutes after 10 o'clock. So it'll be like all these all these twos. And I'm like, wow, I wonder what the significance of that is. I'm sure Shay can tell us because she's into all of that stuff. And she knows, but I was just thinking about it. I was like, dang, this is like the 2 day. So, but anyway, what we're going to talk about today, since this is a fill-in show that I had to, do due to the fact that the guest was ill-disposed, we're going to talk about confidence. Because before I did Deborrary, I sent out a link to a survey to kind of get an idea of where you guys feel like you are lacking, what kind of things you wanted to know more about, what kind of things you wanted us to address during Debruary. And this was one of the issues that came up a lot, self-confidence and self-esteem. So I thought, okay, this might be a good idea to get the opportunity to squeeze this in. So we're going to talk about that. Let me get my, I love to have slideshows when I'm doing this show by myself. I just love it. Love it, love it. Okay, how do I do this? There we go. And there's me off to the side. All right, this is perfect. This is perfect. And I'll give you guys, an opportunity as I get part of the way through this to take your questions and to, if you want to call in and say, share a story about the situation that you had where you weren't exhibiting much confidence or so, whatever. This is going to be for you. So I'll open up the floor, but let me get, some of the basic explanations, foundational information out there, because I think a lot of people just don't really know, how to determine if they have a damaged sense of self-confidence or not. So I'm gonna give you some ideas. Thank you, Fabulous Fab. It helps when you get a little bit of sleep. Okay, so there we go. There's that. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe if you're a new person here to the channel. We got another week of Debruary to go, and then a lot of fabulous programming coming up for the rest of the year to our annual Summer Dusty News Network. This is like straight comedy, but we do that every summer just to kind of lighten things up. So, hit that subscriber button. Okay, now let's talk about what confidence is. Because it's a little bit different than self-esteem, because you can have pretty high self-esteem but still not have much confidence. There's a difference. But if you have confidence, you believe in yourself. You believe in your talents, your abilities, your ability to kind of weather any storm, any kind of challenge that comes your way. You feel like, you can deal with it. It might take you some time. It might take a lot of thinking. It might, be a bit of a challenge, but you feel confident in yourself that you can handle it, that you can do it, that you can make whatever it is happen, that you are going to accomplish this goal. No matter what's thrown at you, you can do it. If you have that kind of belief in yourself and you exude it to other people, that's called having high self-confidence. The one here that I threw on is judgment. Because if you look online, a lot of times they won't use that word when they're talking about confidence. But I think for women, trusting, think about all the advice letters that come through here. Whether women are like, oh, I'm thinking this is what I need to do, and this is, I'm not feeling good about it, but I'm not sure. They don't trust their own judgment of the situation, of how someone's treating them, of their own boundaries. They just question it and they write. I'm going to give them, the thumbs up that they need, but that to me, that demonstrates what I'm saying here, that they don't have the confidence and belief in themselves that they need to have to handle the situation. They're instead pitching around looking for a buy-in from some outside source. That is a sign that you don't have very high confidence. You don't believe in yourself very much, right? Now, this is interesting too, because this was the most recent information, a study that was published in 2020 by Queen's University in Canada. And they say that the average person has more than 6,000 individual, that means different, unique thoughts every day. Now, about, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, we were hearing this number out in this field that people have like 70,000 different thoughts per day. But no one can really pinpoint where did that come from? It just appeared on the internet one day, and everybody, as usual, took it for gospel. But investigating it for the show, I couldn't find any source. Everybody I looked at, everybody seemed to think, well, I don't know. No, I don't know. That's all I kept saying. Nobody knew. And with the vast reach of the internet, don't you think at least one person would have been able to say, yeah, this is the source of it, this university, this study, this something? Not one person knew. So I nixed that number and went with what was verified in the most recent number, which is 6,000 thoughts per day. That's why it's interesting when women say, oh, ask a dude, what are you thinking? And the dude says nothing. And y'all get upset. Well, he's probably he's telling you the truth. He's not thinking anything. Okay, now, this is the important part here. What you think will influence what you say, and what you think will influence what you do. So, my thing is, a lot of you have these people in your lives that tell you that you're nothing and you're nobody. And after a while, you're hearing that enough. If you trust these individuals, you're going to start believing it. So you're going to start telling yourself that, right? So instead, you got to silence that voice. Remove those kind of people out of your life. I mean, we'll be going into more of this later, but this is the overview part. And, just think about Ali. Oh my God, this man he was so arrogant and used to get on everybody's nerves, always talking about how wonderful he was. But did he not prove them right? Right? He's like, I'm the greatest. This and that. Ain't can't nobody beat me. And all this kind of stuff. And I remember, seeing him like at the beginning of fights and stuff, and always went around crowing around talking about how great he was. But he backed it up. So it wasn't just arrogance, empty arrogance. He was fact-telling, okay? And I think that's something that, if you know that you have skills and stuff like that. Remember the other day, who was I interviewing? I forgot. And I was saying how I hate that word humble. I hate that word. And so, it puts him in a situation where, like him, he's talking about the magnificence that he had, okay? Dude was backing his stuff up. So if you're a person with these kind of talents and skills and you back your stuff up, you're entitled to brag about yourself or tell people what you can do without being shy about it and without caring about their feelings about it either. Because if they don't feel good about, they feel bad about themselves because you are better than them, well, then that's their problem. And we'll be going into that as well in a little bit. Yes, I found the black shirt, but this thing is baggy as heck. I need like 2 sizes smaller, but I paid all this money for the sucker, so you're going to see me wear it. That's just the way it is. Okay, so when you project confidence, like just imagine you walking into a room, a job interview, come some kind of situation where it's, new people in a new situation, right? Now, the person who doesn't have confidence is going to sneak in the room, doing all like this, looking at the ground, looking around, trying to see if anybody's looking at them, just feeling all comfortable, looking uncomfortable, don't want to talk to nobody. And somebody walks over to and introduces them, shakes their hand, they're like, oh, and that limp handshake that just makes you just feel like slapping somebody, they do that. A person who has confidence will walk into the room, look around, the people, they know the movers and shakers. If not, they go start working the room. And, when they talk to people, they look them in their eye and they make sure that they greet people and they shake hands firmly and enthusiastically and introduce themselves. Okay, so that first impression that they give is one of confidence, one of knowledge and authority, somebody that you could, that's going to know what they're doing and talking about. That's even if they're later proven that they don't. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying that's their impression that you're going to get because of how they present themselves as a person who believes in themselves and who is confident in their ability. They walk into the room and they already own it, you know. And so if you're in a situation where you are a job seeker, especially if you're going into a management position, you know, that's going to be an important thing for you to come in and do. Not look like you're a nervous little mouse, you know, just like so grateful that they even want to talk to you. I've interviewed people like that and I quickly got rid of them. All right, now I have a quick little quiz here for you guys. This is not going to be any points to it. It's no big deal. Nobody needs to know what your answers are, just you. All right? It's 2 slides worth. Okay, so these are the questions 1 through 5. You answer yes or no to each question. Think about who you are. Do you like yourself? Like, would you want to be friends with you? Do you value yourself? Do you think you're important enough to get, you know, respect? What you want for pay? Treated and talked to the way that you do deserve to be treated. Do you feel important enough for that? Or do you just kind of go with the flow? Are you assertive? Do you tell people what you want, what your boundaries are, or do you just not say anything and hope that they're going to figure it out, or, you know, that they won't do it again or something like that? Can you make decisions that you feel comfortable with? Now, this means that you don't just say, oh, yeah, okay, okay, because that's a decision. But you can tell by that hesitancy that you don't really feel comfortable with it. You're not saying it with a voice of authority. You're not saying it with any kind of, you know, really certainty. Like, yeah, that's exactly what I want. Or no, I don't want that. That's not what I had a taste for. I don't really want to be bothered with that situation. No, that's not for me. That kind of stuff. Can you do that? Do you know what your strengths are and your weaknesses? A lot of people will tell you what their weaknesses are. Yeah, they focus on them all the time. That's all they talk about is the things that they think are wrong with them, that where they don't measure up to other people. They can just trot off a whole shopping list of those things. You know how horrible it is when I go to a job interview? The last one I went to, I know that people thought I was crazy. Because you know how they always ask you to tell you what your weaknesses are? I said I don't have any. And said it with such confidence because I don't feel like I do. Because I feel like anything that I don't know, I can learn it within 10 minutes. And anything that I do know, I'm excellent at it. Because that's how I roll. So, you know, I don't feel like I have any weaknesses. And I said it, and they looked at me like all 4 of them panel. They all looked at me, and then they looked at each other. And I knew I wasn't getting that job because I would have had to work under one of those people. And I could tell by the look on their face, they're like, oh no, she's gonna be a little bit too much for us to handle. So but I could tell by the look on their face that wasn't gonna work. So that's why it's important to know your strengths and your weaknesses, and then but you don't harp on your weaknesses, but you do know them. Okay. The number 6. Remember, you're answering yes or no to each one of these 10 questions. Can you move on from your mistakes easily? Or are you one of those kind of people that rehash it over and 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 over, and oh, I shoulda, oh, next time I'm gonna, oh, why did I do that kind of thing? You beat yourself up about a mistake that you made. Are you able to try out new experiences or difficult things, or do you run away from them? You run away from challenges. You run away from something that's unfamiliar to you. You turn your nose up at new foods, new situations, new restaurants even, new people, new events, anything that's new and different than what you're used to, you are resistant to it. Okay? That's a yes or no. Are you able to put yourself first when you need to? Or you always worry about everybody else first? How do you roll? And be honest. Don't say the thing that you think you should say. Say with the way that you really are. Because the more you are honest with yourself as we go through this, the better results you're gonna get from all this work I put together putting this show together. Number 9. Do you believe in your own self-worth, and then the fact that you're good enough? Or are you always questioning whether you're good enough? Are you gonna fit in? what's going to happen, what are the people going to say about you, what you wear, what you look like, your hair, your skin color, your education, your single status, what you going to do. And then the final one, do you believe that you deserve to be happy? Or, some of these women, and they straight tell you, love is a struggle. Love is not supposed to be easy. You're supposed to have to work at it. So in their mind, the answer to number 10 would be no, because they are perfectly happy accepting mediocrity and emotional drama and pain and all of that kind of stuff. So they don't think they deserve to be happy. They're going to stay in the situation with a dusty, trying to, quote, make it work, that struggle of. So these are all things, like I said, you don't have to share your answers. This is not for public consumption. This is for you to do some thinking about how you roll through the world, and it gives you a little idea of where your holes are in your confidence. And I think I love this quote by Michael Jordan, because I think confident people they get stuff, they make stuff happen, they make their dreams come true, just like he did, Kobe Bryant. The practicing that they have to do. So he was talking about how many shots he missed, because people always want to talk about the wins. He's like, no, I missed 9,000 shots. Some people don't even take 9,000 shots, let alone miss them. He's lost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot, and I missed. I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. Get it? Because see, this is my analogy when I be talking to dudes that play sports. I like to use the baseball analogy. Okay, you got the players on the bench, right? You got the players in the field. You got the man up at bat. The only way that you can hit a home run and bring everybody home is if you take the bat and you step up to the plate. You sitting on the bench, you in the locker room, you didn't even try out for the team. You never gonna hit a home run, ever, 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 ever. The only man who has a chance to hit the home run is the one who steps up to the plate, bat in hand, and takes a swing. He may miss. He may, get a ball, he may strike out. But then again, he may hit that ball to the moon and everybody and their mama come home to make a point. So that's what he's talking about. He never gave up. He just kept going. Even when he messed up, even when he missed a shot, even when he missed 9,000 shots, he kept going, and that is how he became the greatest, debatably, the greatest basketball player ever in the NBA. So I just wanted to, reiterate that. Now, some quotes from two women. Did you guys read Ayn Rand's book, Atlas Shrugged? I have been trying to read that book for about 5 years. I just cannot get through it. But anyway, she's a very famous author, and this Atlas Shrugged is about this thick, and it's a novel. And, so she's like a well-known writer. But she has the attitude that I love. It's the question isn't who's going to let me, it's who's going to stop me. And that's me. And then Oprah, think like a queen, because a queen is not afraid to fail. Failure is another stepping stone to greatness. So you see the theme here. The theme is all of you who are too afraid to step up to the plate, step on the court, step up in life, and risk losing. You're never going to win. You have to be willing to risk to losing in order to become a winner. If you cannot risk that, you're too scared, you don't feel confident, you don't know enough yet, whatever, then work on that part. But until you are willing to step up and swing the bat, you never gonna hit a home run. It's a great book, girl. Faith, I'm telling you, I've been trying to read it. I don't know. I think my ADHD kicks in. I just can't do it. I need pictures. I'm making jokes, but oof, it's a deep book. Okay, so let's reiterate this. When you are confident, it puts other people at ease. Like, think about in a crisis, right? It's like an emergency situation. Who does everybody look to for leadership and guidance and direction? The person who's calm, the person who steps up, the person who speaks with a voice of authority, and the person who's, willingly takes charge. Okay, you call 911. You find the bandages. You put on a pot of boiling water. You put her there, this and that, get some blankets, this and that, blah, blah, blah. They take charge. Okay, and they exude confidence, and that's why people follow them and listen to them. So you have like all these dudes talking about, well, you need to submit to me, and we're natural leaders and all this stuff, but then they have to turn around and beg for somebody to follow them and listen to them. You're not a leader, sir. Leaders lead, and then people just follow behind them because they can see that they feel confident in their leadership. You got to ask somebody to follow you, then you are fraudulent, okay? So yeah, when you're confident, your boss is at ease because you say, oh yeah, I'll get it done by Friday, I'll give it to you at 4 o'clock. They know it's going to happen because you exude that kind of confidence in your work, and you have proven yourself to meet the expectations and the demands that are put on you repeatedly. That's why everybody else has confidence in you too, in your abilities. And if you are also present yourself as having confidence, what we talk about here in relationships, that also works to your favor because you as a woman, that you're talking to a dude and you're like, this is my bottom line right here. And you cross it, we're through here, sir. There ain't no coming back from that. And if you say it in a way that, is assertive and confident, he's going to know that you mean it. You say it in that timid way that most women talk, oh, well, I think so. Well, maybe, well, kind of, this kind of stuff. He's going to know that you don't mean what you say. You don't mean nothing that you say. So let's reiterate, okay, before we move on. What is self-confidence? It's the ability, you must believe in yourself and your ability to accomplish any task. No matter the odds, no matter the difficulty, no matter the adversity, you know that you can do it. The belief that you can and will accomplish it, that's self-confidence in a nutshell, okay? So everybody knows, because I see a lot of people just came in. Yeah, I'm going to be talking about that shaman of truth, some of the ways that this happens, because it doesn't happen in a vacuum. Admittedly, some people are born with more, with a different personality that's a little bit more confident than others. But even if you are, you do start off with as a confident being, that's your personality that you were born with, it can be destroyed by the people in your life, especially, as a child, because you don't yet have the defenses to know, to set up boundaries and not listen to the people that are taking care of you and supposed to love you and stuff like that. You're a kid, you don't know yet, but that's when a lot of young people get thrown off. So let's talk about how people that have damaged self-confidence, low self-confidence, will behave. What kind of behaviors and attitudes do they demonstrate? Studies show that they're often hypersensitive, the easily offended types. Like you say something, something general. Well, I didn't do that. They take it personally, like you talking about them, and you're like confused. This happens a lot on the internet. You making some general statement, and then here comes somebody's like, well, I'm not like that. It's like, clown, I don't even know you. What are you talking about? Nobody's talking about you. I don't know you. Until 10 seconds ago when you posted this comment, I had never heard of you. So how do you feel like I'm talking about you? This is just the most amazing thing to me. And people do that too. Like you walking down the street, somebody's looking at you, okay. People just be looking, right? They just looking. And you don't even know why somebody's looking. They might be looking for a friend who's supposed to be meeting them. They might be looking for, who knows what they're looking at, but whatever. So here you go with your sensitive self. What they looking at? What they looking at me for? With all kind of, attitude and stuff. It's just the most unbelievable thing. But that's this person that has low self-confidence. You feel like you're inadequate, you're not good enough. You never feel good enough. You think other people are better than you. Sometimes you might even say that to them. I was about to do when I was in Black Enterprise Magazine. They did a spread on me and a couple other people in Black Enterprise Magazine. This was a long time ago, like in the late 90s or early 2000s or something. And this guy that this was like our second or third date, sat there, and I guess he had seen it. I mean, I hadn't even talked to him about it. it just that don't have nothing to do with our budding relationship. That's me and my business. That don't have nothing to do with you. And so we're sitting there and eating, and then he looks, he says, well, I guess you think you all that because you was in Black Enterprise. And I was looking down so I didn't see his face, and people saying stuff that they could just be kidding. But when I looked up for my food and I looked at his face, then that's when I knew that he was serious. And, he was feeling like I thought I was better than him when I hadn't even mentioned the article to him. He didn't know what I do, how I do it, nothing. I didn't really know this guy that well yet. So, I mean, why would I be telling him all my personal business? You know how I am about y'all telling everything. And so I hadn't told him anything, but I knew at that moment that this was it. This was going to be our last date, because I'm not going to deal with nobody who has low self-esteem like that and who's going to be trying to put me in a position where I have to hide my shine and my brightness in order for him to not feel like he's dull. No, you just dull. Deal with it, okay? Because I'm not going to do that. And I don't like it when women do that either. They feel like they have to, hide who and what they are and their greatness to make some guy feel better about his mediocrity. No, clown, get on the stick and do better. You're supposed to be coming up to match me then. I'm not going to be dropping down to match you. That's going the wrong way. That's balling backwards. We're not going to do that. Okay, other people with low levels of confidence look for signs of rejection. They look for people, to not be accepting of them. Oh, they're not going to like me. Oh, if I ask her to dance, she's just going to tell me no. These women don't want a nice man like me. See, that's what I'm talking about. They already, they're looking for rejection. Before they even try, they're already shot themselves in the foot. People who have low self-confidence are closed-minded and very pessimistic. It's hard to be around them because, you be excited about, you want to do something, try something, go a new place or something. What you want to do that for? This woman actually told me this when I was down in Houston. They had a new Chinese Sichuan restaurant that opened up in Houston. And it was like amazing to me because, they're all over San Francisco, but it was like the first one. So I'm ready to go, right? And so she's like, you eat Chinese food? And I'm like, yeah, like, doesn't everybody? And she's like, oh, I don't eat that. I said, why? And she said, you don't know what's in that stuff. You could be eating dog. That's what she said to me. I will never forget that. Who does that? This is a true story. And so that is the kind of thing that, very closed-minded, not willing to experience anything of another culture, just what she knew, from childhood, and exactly the same. People who have low self-confidence also tend to be very jealous and insecure. They're very possessive. They see a threat everywhere. Somebody's always trying to get them, get something of theirs, get their man, get their job, get their money, get something. They always feel threatened and afraid of everything. It's just exhausting being around them. And then the rest of them deem themselves wrong. They're always apologizing. Every single thing out of her mouth, these women, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't mean it. Oh, excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry. It's like, oh my God, just put it on a t-shirt so you can just point at it. Okay, let's look at some more. People with low self-confidence are afraid to express different positions or opinions or ideas. And this is in group settings, at business meetings, they will just be quiet. Or, they go along with what everybody else wants. Instead of saying, no, that's stupid. Why you want to do that? That don't make no sense. I don't like that. I'm not going to do that. That's me. Sometimes I just be contrary just to be contrary, because it's not like I really care anyway, one way or another, but maybe I don't like the person whose idea it was, whatever. But anyway, you never be afraid to speak up, especially if something going to impact you and it's not going to really work for you. You better open your mouth. You're very concerned about what others think. Oh my God, this is the main thing. The first thing out of their mouth. Oh, well, I don't want to do that because, what is everybody else going to think? What are people are going to look at me? People are going to think, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, who cares? If they ain't paying you, then why are you worried about what they think? I mean, if those thoughts materialize into your bank account, well, then yeah, I might worry about it. But since it doesn't, I don't concern myself with what other people think. Ever, never. I just cannot do that. They're very afraid of making a mistake. They feel like everything has to be perfect, and if it's not perfect, they don't even want to try it. They find it very hard to say no to people. Very, very much into people pleasing. They want to be liked. It's important to them. They may, on the other hand, though, get together, especially with some of their, other low self-confident friends, and they want to bully people and intimidate people and put other people down. Those are like the mean girls in school. People often think that they have high self-esteem. They have to like bottom of the barrel underneath somebody's shoe self-confidence, because that's where they get their feeling of power, by ganging up on someone that they think is weaker or smaller. It's the same thing with men that do DV. Okay? No. If you were confident, you wouldn't need to be treating people like that to feel more powerful and big and important about yourself. You put other people down so you can basically feel like you're standing on their head, and that makes you feel better, like you finally somebody. Others will put on a show of arrogance and boastfulness, like, oh, I'm the best, but they can't back it up. They don't really have nothing going on, but they can sure talk a good game. They smoke what we used to call selling wolf tickets. And people with low self-confidence give up real quick. They'll try something once, sometimes not even a whole one time, maybe 2 times for those that, work their little courage back up. But then after that, they just give up. They give up. And they just become bums, or they, settle for some mediocre job at a fast food place or something instead of going back to school. All kinds of stuff people do when they give up. They also find it difficult to take a compliment or to take credit for things that they do. That's, again, is that humble thing coming into play, which, like I already expressed, I don't like that. If you, when someone gives you a compliment, you say, thank you, that was really nice of you to say, or something, something like that. Or they say, oh, that color looks really good on you. What do you call that? Oh, I don't know. I think the tag said it was periwinkle blue or something like that. Okay, so you're taking it and you're conversing with it. You're comfortable with hearing someone say something nice about you, something nice about something you did. They give you credit for something you did. That was a fabulous idea that you shared in the meeting, Cheryl. That's just good job. This kind of thing. Instead of just saying, thank you, Fred. Here goes Cheryl. Oh, it was no big deal. Well, yeah, I don't know. I just got that idea. I don't know where it came from. So she's not taking any credit for the fact that she actually put in a lot of work to come up with the idea and work out the loopholes and stuff before she opened her mouth in the meeting. But you would never know that because she's not going to say it. People with low self-confidence are terrified of risk or change. They like the things to stay exactly the same because it's not a challenge to them. They tend to be very indecisive. They waffle on decisions so that they try to position it so that you make the decision, so that you take the hit if anything goes wrong. That's that trick. They don't even want to decide like what clothes to wear, what restaurant to go to, nothing. Because what movie to see on TV, on Netflix, nothing. They want you to make the decision so then they can position themselves to complain and put it down. I know that trick. They always make excuses for stuff. They never just stand up and take responsibility for what they did or didn't do. So it's like a little kid, trying to run away and hide from mommy to avoid getting a spank or something. I don't know. It's really weird. But they have no problem of blaming and shifting blame and pointing the finger at other people. Well, it's your fault. It's, you made me and stuff. That's someone with low self-confidence because they don't want to be responsible and take the hit for a decision that they made. They don't want to be wrong. Remember I said they don't want to feel like they made a mistake. So the best way to feel like you didn't make a mistake is you didn't do anything. The other people did it. See what I mean? How that all ties together? And they have a tendency to want to hide any perceived flaw that they may have. So those are all ways, and then I'm sure there's dozens more of ways that people that have low self-confidence will demonstrate it. Oh, I made another. Dang, I was just going on and on, wasn't I? This is unbelievable. That's right. I remember now because I was done, and then I remembered some more things. They don't leave the house without makeup. Primping all the time. Every mirror. Oh, I used to have a friend like that. Every time we passed a glass window, like she had to stop and, do all this stuff. And I stopped going places with her because I couldn't stand it. She stayed in the mirror. And she just wore like 900 pounds of makeup everywhere we went. I'm like, girl, this is ridiculous. My makeup is like a 5-minute routine. Hers would be like an hour and a half. And I'm like, this don't make no sense. I can't with you. Low self, they have their follower mentality. Like they don't want to make a mistake. They don't want to have a voice that's different from anybody else's. So they just go along with what everyone else says. They tend to have very poor communication skills. You ask them for their opinions, their thoughts, their feelings about anything. You'll never get an answer, a straight answer. They don't want to put themselves out there. They don't want to be wrong. They don't want you to have anything to be able to criticize them about or tell them that they didn't do it right. They tend to be unmotivated, low energy underachievers, like this whole generation of young men that stay in the house, don't want to work, don't want to go to school, and just play video games all day. Bam. And then they be mad because no girl wants to go out with them. Well, you're in the basement, like looking pasty, in need of vitamin D and exercise, and you're socially awkward, and you don't know how to talk to girls. And then when they do reject you because they think, wow, this guy is really super weird, then you get mad, which of course doesn't do anything for your confidence, but it's kind of a vicious cycle that you set up for yourself. So take responsibility, do something about it. So they tend to become very hostile, angry, defensive. How many times do we see this online, right? And basically they're miserable and unhappy people. Not too much you can do about that. Now we're going to talk about the causes, the possible causes. Like someone's mentioned up here, that their confidence was destroyed by the family and crabs in a barrel. Women that were jealous. And now, it's closed off in a homebody for good. So, that's unfortunate. But, a lot of people have mental illness and emotional problems that are undiagnosed. And they, treat other people very poorly because of it. Whereas if they just admitted that they had a problem and went and got some help, then it would save the generations that follow them in these families. So I have a feeling like that's something of the truth in that situation. So these are some of the possible causes that I could think of. Like I said, there's probably hundreds more, but we're talking in generalities here. A lot of people were bullied as children. That impacted their sense of self. It was like, why am I being treated like this? I must be wrong. I'm bad. There's something wrong with me. Nobody likes me, this kind of thing. Sometimes it's a lack of parental or caregiver affection, abandonment, neglect. Sometimes the kids are neglected to the point where they end up in foster care, and then, different situations that they might encounter there that might lead to trauma or abuse, either in those, childhood or as they're a little older in relationships. They're experiencing different kinds of trauma. They might experience harsh parental standards and some really harsh punishments that leave psychological damage and leave them feeling wounded. You might have struggled academically and been undiagnosed, needed an IEP because you have dyslexia or some other kind of learning disability, which there are programs that can help kids with that so they can live a normal life. But until you get diagnosed, you don't know, and a lot of parents don't even know that kind of stuff exists where they can get their child tested. So the child suffers the burden of trying to, be, quote, normal and dealing with that. And in the meantime, failing out of school and feeling even worse about him or herself. Some kids don't do well when their parents split up. And then some end up, having a chain of failed relationships. So they may have started off pretty well, but with each relationship that failed, their dreams go up in smoke and they're more and more emotionally damaged by the relationships. So how can you build your confidence? What habits can you look at and address and change? Let me put this in here. If anybody wants to call in and share something, share a story or share a thought about this, that is the link right there. So you click that and using your headphones, you can call in and share your story or your feelings about why you have low confidence or, a friend or something like that. It's a very common problem. It's very, very common. I think the thing about it, though, is not so much that you have it, but how you handle having it. That's the key, at least to me. And I'll be going into some thoughts about that in a little bit. So let me put that up one more time. This is the link. If you wish to be on the recording, asking a question or making a comment, that's where you can do it. Otherwise, you can just make a comment in the chat room, and then I'll try my best to see it. Okay? So let's move on then to the next slide. Now this is important because people, I think, well, if you're confident, that you're confident all the time, 24/7 in every situation, and that's not the case. When you're faced with something new or some new kind of challenge, you might have a moment where you're not feeling that confident about it. But what gets you through it, though, is your belief that you can get through it, right? Not where you're sitting there saying, I can't do this. Oh, this is just going to be messed up. I may as well not even try. Oh, I can't. I don't even know what I'm doing. Those kind of messages, that kind of conversation that you're giving to yourself. But, so confidence it's kind of situational. Like it's something that you know really well how to do, you're going to be having like the utmost confidence. If it's something that you kind of know, you might have a little doubt, but you're going to push through and do it anyway. And then there might be some things that you're really not confident about at all. And then you have to give that some serious thought. Do you get some help to get through it? Do you hire somebody so that you don't have to worry about it? How are you going to handle it? And then confidence also is acquired. So you think, well, okay, at 12, 15, 18, I didn't have much confidence, but you can start working on it and you can develop that. It's something that you work on and you improve your skill set at it, just like playing the piano or, doing computer graphics, designing. The more you do it, the more you practice, the better at it that you get. So, the first step, though, is you have to understand that you need to start working on that. And then you can also, even if you have, pretty good self-confidence now, you can always make it better. You can always improve on where you are. So what kind of things are we going to talk about here? Oh, let me see. Hold on a second. Hold on, Faith. I forgot to put my my mic in. Since I didn't have a guest today, I didn't do that. Guys, hold on. Let me get Faith in here. Hey, Faith. Oh, Faith. I'm not hearing you. Okay, let's get her on in a few. Get her back in here. Okay, let's talk about this. What kind of things that you can do to improve your self-confidence? The main thing you're going to do is watch your self-talk. People, most of the time, women just have this bad. Sit there and call themselves all kinds of horrible names. Oh, you're so fat. You look at you. Nobody, no man's gonna want you. And other women may say that to you. Nobody's gonna want you looking like this. You just look a hot mess. You so out of shape. Oh, I need to lose weight. Oh, this dress is too tight. This don't look right at all. Everything that you say about yourself has an edge of negativity and criticism to it. Why can't you reframe that? Yes, okay, well, maybe that dress, maybe you did put on a few pounds. I don't know. Maybe you did put on a few pounds. But why are you going to sit there and beat yourself up about it? Say, oh, girl, okay, what we going to do? And then you say, okay, well, we're going to have this off in 2 weeks, a month, because this is what we're about to do. We're about to take charge of this. Okay, so you see how it's the same thing. You acknowledge that you gained weight. But instead of beating yourself over the head with it, you instead formulate a positive-oriented plan to eliminate the problem. That is what people with self-confidence do. The other ones are going to sit there and beat themselves up endlessly over and over and over and over about the weight gain. That's a perfect example. The main thing to do, too, is get out of your head. Remember the guy that we had, Tim, talking about overthinking? If you missed that, please go back and look at that video. He gave his whole presentation was on overthinking and getting out of your head, and this is one of the most damaging things that people do is the negative mindset and the picking on themselves kind of thing. One thing too is you notice people with low self confidence and low self esteem have weird posture. They round their shoulders, they drop their head, they look at the ground when they walk. They have a hard time looking people in the eye, and they don't stand up straight. Now, admittedly, sometimes people have an issue, like they might have a back problem or something. They may have a medical reason why they are not standing up as straight as others. But in general, if you find that you're feeling kind of, shaky about a situation, try that exercise. Roll your shoulders. You want to loosen up your shoulders. Swing your arms crisscross in the front. You put your arms out straight, like, and you're doing like this, but it's straight out in front of you. That opens up your chest and your upper back muscles. And then you can move your shoulders and you can stand up straight. Keep your ears, shoulders, and hips aligned. That's good posture. We all tend to slump some, especially when I work up on computers. But it's something to think about, because when you're standing tall and you feel like you're in control and dominant and all these kind of positive things, then you will present that. You face your fears, okay? Whatever your fears are, you need to face the saying is, feel the fear and do it anyway. I'm a firm believer of that. Stop comparing yourself with other people and putting yourself down. Being jealous, envious of what they have or what they do or what the kind of work they have or where they live or what they drive and stuff like that. I mean, why? How is that going to benefit you to be sitting there all evil and poking your lip out, looking all crazy and talking negatively about what they have? They worked for it. You want it, you work for it too. You have every capability in your head that they had. Just put it to use. That's all you got to do. One way to kind of boost your self-confidence is to create a challenge for yourself. Make yourself do something new and different every week. Make yourself do it. And then when you see that you're successful at that, it becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy, and you get your confidence levels increase. Take care of yourself better. Make sure that you get enough sleep, that you eat a healthy diet, that you go to the doctor if you make sure that your health is in good shape, and you exercise. You want to keep your body operating in top form. Taking care of yourself could also mean getting some therapy if you find that you have some troubles adjusting in some way. So you improve your body with exercise and eating correctly, and your appearance by, I don't know, maybe getting a new haircut, getting new clothes. I mean, styles change. If you still wearing the same makeup look that you wore in high school, because I've seen women do that. They have like the raccoon eye eyeliner that makes the wings way up here, and then they have their hair in some bouffant thing like they used to wear in Texas. They had that look. This was in the late 80s, and I'm like, what y'all doing? They had the poof hair, the big hair. And that was the thing in Texas at that time, and I just thought it was just kind of amazing. Okay, Faith is back. Okay, let's see if we get Faith this time.
Hi, Deb.
Hi, now I can hear you.
Okay. Um, Thank you for having me on. Appreciate all the work you do. I wanted to make a point and a brief story. Um, I had a supervisor last year who was really disrespectful. Just would yell. One minute she'd be cool, the next minute she'd be angry about something, and I was at a point where I couldn't take it anymore because I knew I would volcanically erupt. So I had two conversations with her, and those conversations didn't result in the solution. And thankfully, she transferred to another store. But I waited too long to say something because I was waiting for someone else to say something. I waited too long because I forgot myself. And I took hits for that. And I want to encourage everyone to not do that. Don't forget yourself. You're important. You come first in your life, and no one else does. The culture, I think, teaches that we have to put others first, and we're taught this I think largely implicitly when we're young. And so by the time we get older, we don't question that. And we take
Right.
a lot of psychological casualties as a result. And at the end of the day, all the arrows of pointing to someone else, pointing to someone else, pointing to someone else ultimately leads nowhere. You got to point the arrow at you. So I just wanted to make a point about that and just encourage everyone to focus on yourself. You're going to feel bad about it at first. I still feel guilty about it. I still feel horrible. It still hurts to focus on me, but I have to if I really want to feel better about myself. If I don't want to walk around knowing I exist physically, but then psychologically and emotionally feeling like I don't.
Right.
So that's a huge contradiction right there in itself. So you want to feel whole within self.
Good job, Faith.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's not, I never said that this work was going to be easy. I don't want anybody to think that. You know, going in and changing, especially some patterns that have been ingrained in you since childhood, is really, really tough. But you know, the one thing I appreciate about all the women who come here is everybody is interested in taking those steps. And so, you know, I try to give you the information and the support that you need to make it happen. So I'm very excited that you learned that at such a young age. Good
Thank
job.
you, Deb.
You're
Thank you for
welcome.
what you do, and I'll go ahead and leave now.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Where did I go off? Um, oh, improving your body and appearance. Oh, and checking your circle of influence. Now this is really important. Now, what I did was I created a graph. I hope I put it in the right place. Let's see. This is always it's always a mystery. Yes, look at my graphic design skills. All right, look at me. Okay, there are three circles that we're going to talk about. Three. Okay, now the circle of concern. That's the outermost circle. Those are the things that go on in your life that you think about them. You might be worried about them, but there really isn't anything that you can do about them. Things that might fall into this category. You're taking a flight somewhere and you're concerned that the plane might crash in a storm. Well, not too much you can do about that. You know, you're driving and somebody, a drunk driver crosses the median and it runs into you head on. Okay, that's a concern. I mean, everybody, we think about that when we get behind the wheel of the car. Lord, I hope all these people driving like they have some sense tonight. But, I mean, we can do a little defensive driving or anything, but I mean, in reality, that's not we can't control what other people do. Okay, we can't control that. Just can't do it. So those are things, like hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, stuff. We prepare for them, we think about them, but not too much we can do about it. So let's move on from that. Then we move to the second circle. That's the one that's like the golden brown color here. And I call it your circle of influence. It's under your influential control. Now, this, like for instance, that would be me. You guys are in my life in an influential control situation. I can share you information. I can try to educate you. I can provide you with links. I can provide you with knowledge. I can provide you with options. I can do all of that. But can I make you make sensible decisions? Can I make you not date dusties? Can I make you stand up for yourself? The answer is to those questions is no. I can influence you to do better. I can influence you to at least understand what you're doing, right? But ultimately the decision and the action is solely yours. Okay. Now we move to the inner circle, which is green, the circle of control. This is every single thing about you, what you do, what you think, where you go, what you eat, what you weigh, how you dress. I mean, your friends, how you associate with family, where you work, how much money you waste, all of that, all of that. All of that is that's your circle of control. Those are things that you do that's under your direct decision-making control. Nobody has any influence over that but you. This is very hard for a lot of people to accept because they don't want to accept that they're the only ones that's messing themselves up. Okay? Nobody's doing that to you. You're doing that to yourself. All right? So, you're looking at I think I say. Well, anyway, what you do, what you read, even the kind of music you listen to, where you hang out, what routes you take to and from work, or what your leisure activities, every single thing that you make a decision, you think about and you say is it going to be A, B, or C, that's you. That's your circle of control. Okay. Now, where this becomes a problem and where people's self confidence gets hit is when you don't take control of situations and you look at the people who are your circle of influence to tell you what to do. And you don't really think about it. You just do it because they said it, or, that's your man, or, you're supposed to submit, or your pastor. There's all kinds of things, but just think about that as we go through the rest of these slides. So what are the benefits of, working on your self-confidence and getting your self-confidence up? You'll be better at your job and any sports performance because you raise your expectations and you put more emphasis on doing your best. You don't just skate through life. By having higher self-confidence and being better about establishing boundaries and maintaining them and being assertive and all of those kinds of things, you'll have healthy relationships with your children, with your spouse, with, other romantic partners, and even with your extended family, your co-workers, everyone, because you will be choosing yourself and you'll be making sure to respect and treat yourself well, not doing everything to please other people and sacrificing yourself. You'll be more open to new things. You'll bring a whole element of excitement and adventure to your life. It helps you grow as a person. It helps you meet new people. Have new things to talk about. You become much more interesting person where more people want to be around you because you've taken these steps to step outside of your box. You'll have a new appreciation for yourself. Like I said, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. As you start seeing yourself grow, change, and develop, and stand straighter and taller and do things that are more protective of yourself, you start feeling better about yourself. You appreciate the changes that you've made. You appreciate your talents and abilities more because you start letting them shine. And it becomes like this circle where you are just getting better and better and more wonderful to be around. Other people just can't get enough of you because you are just so fly, just so wonderful, so exciting to talk to, and you're funny and you make them laugh and you always know stuff and you always got something to say that's new that makes them think, and they just love being around you. That's what you want. You want people running from you or thinking a lot of these women don't have nothing going on. You go to work, you go to church, you go home, take care of your kids, and you cook and clean. That's it. That's your life. And then you wonder why your man is bored because you're boring. Okay, let me just be blunt. Do something for yourself. Do something so you grow. You should not be the same person today that you were 5 or 10 years ago. You should. I can't even fathom that. You should be such a different person now. So much more along in life and maturity and experiences. If you're not, come on now. And then resilience comes into play too, because as you gain the confidence, as you start challenging yourself, and you see that you can do it, and you make a commitment that even if it doesn't happen the first time, you're going to get up and you're going to do it again, you're creating resilience in yourself where it becomes a pattern, it becomes a behavior trait, where if something happens and you get knocked down, you boing right up and you just you get on back on the horse. You keep doing that, and it becomes a part of your personality where you don't, I fell off the horse, but I'm all right. You dust that yourself off and you jump right back up there and you start riding again. That's resilience. Okay, you don't let something knock you down and you just stay down. Now let's talk about mastery, because some people feel like, I have to be the best. I have to be perfect. I have to do it better than anybody else on this whole world. And I'm saying, no, you can just be pretty damn good at it, and that's good enough. I mean, you're going to give it your all. Don't get me wrong. I don't want you half stepping. But if your best is going to be different from somebody else's best. Okay, they may have more money. They may have a higher IQ. They may be older, have different work experience, life experience. I mean, whatever. You don't know what that person has that makes them be able to do something differently, faster, better than what you did. That's not the point. The point is that you gave it 110%, which your very best that you could do. Then you don't have nothing to be ashamed of. You have nothing to be, to hide your head about. So, and you can, and doing something pretty damn good is excellent. Okay, because a lot of people, like we said, are not gonna do nothing. They're gonna sit on their butt and just whine about, I didn't want it, I can't try. It's like I'm just gonna mess up anyway. So why should I even try? So this Jim Bouchard says the bridge between knowledge and skill is practice. The bridge between skill and mastery is time. So you put in the time and you put in the practice, you're going to become masterful at it at some point. If that's what you want to do. But just remember that mastery takes time and involves, some effort, some intention. So it's not just, I'm just going to spend the time. No, you got to spend the time. It's like, okay, this week, I'm gonna run a marathon. That's my end goal. Okay. So my first month, I'm gonna add, I don't know, a quarter mile each week. And then the next month of training, I'm going to do this. So you're good. There's intent to it, right? You have a plan and you're working the plan. You want to do it. You want to train and build up your stamina, endurance, but you don't want to suffer any injury. So you do it in a way that makes sense. And you discipline yourself so that you get up and you do it on schedule every time. So when it's time to run that marathon, your body's in peak form and you breeze all through it and you come out on the other side like, oh yeah. Look at me. Look at me. That's what you want, okay? You got to eliminate quitting as an option. That's not an option. In spite of the W.C. Fields quote that I like, but it's funny, where he says, try again. No, if at first you don't succeed, try again, then quit. No sense being a damn fool about it. But, he was a comedian, so that was a joke. But, for us, we're not going to have quitting. It's not an option. It's not a joke. Okay, this is real life. So, you got to do it. Like, think about Serena Williams and her sister. What did their father have them doing? Repetition, repeating the same stuff over and over and over until they achieved mastery. And you have to be persistent. You don't give up. You don't stop. You don't get yourself derailed. You stay on track. And it's really unfortunate because when you think about it, most people give up. Most people give up. They fall off the horse one time, at the most twice, and then they're done. I read this thing that said J.K. Rowling had submitted her book, Harry Potter, more than 20 times and got rejected every time until that 21st. And then she got the book deal. How many people going to have that kind of stick-to-itiveness and that belief in themselves that they're going to keep trying through 20 rejections? I thought that was amazing because those books were wonderful. I don't know why they rejected them. That was crazy. They had no vision, I guess. I don't know. So you got to keep going, people. You got to keep going like the Terminator. Keep moving forward. Go towards your goals, go towards your obstacles. My thing is I don't let nothing get in my way. If I focus on what I want, I'm going to go over you. I'm going to go around you. I'm going to go between your legs. I'm going to go underneath the ground under the tunnel. I'm a pole vault. I don't care how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to get there and you're not going to stop me. And that's just the way it is. So you have to have a determination like that as long as you are really focused on what it is that you want for yourself. You don't let anybody stop you. You don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it, that you're not going to be any good at it, that that's not for you. All those kind of things that people do to try to poison your mind to make you feel like what you're doing is a waste of time. Don't listen to them. Don't listen. And then my final slide, I think this is the final one. Yeah. There's going to be days, just let's be realistic here. There's going to be days when, you're going to wake up and you're going to feel a little shaky with your confidence. That happens to the best of us. You're entitled to have those moments. But what you're not going to do is dwell on it. You're not going to let it, okay, that moment's not going to turn into a week. Okay, that day is not going to turn into a week. That's that one day. Get it together. Let's go. Don't even put that pressure on yourself to be perfect. Like I said, you're going to give it your best. Everybody's best is different. It's going to depend on your age, like I said, your educational level, your physical abilities, your strength. I mean, some people have disabilities, injuries, all kind of stuff is going on with people. You're going to give it your best, your individual best. And you're going to hear some criticism. You're going to hear people putting you down. You're going to be scared. Oh, am I doing the right thing? Is this right? Oh, I don't know. You're going to be questioning yourself. You're going to feel kind of insecure about it sometimes. That's just all part of the package. But what you got to do is stay focused on what it is that you want. And whatever you do it the best that you can, and then you'll be all right with me. Okay? You'll be all right with yourself, too. So that's our slide presentation. Did anybody have a question? You want to make a comment? Here is the link. Faith made a good one talking about, what happened on her job. I think that's a pretty amazing thing. If a lot of people have abilities and stuff that they're not getting paid for them. They're doing the work that's utilizing those abilities at their job free, essentially in a very underpaid capacity. And you got to have the courage if you know that there's positions like what you're doing in other companies, and they're getting paid $25,000 a year more than what you're making. Then you go over there and you get you a job offer, and then if you want to stay where you are though, which is usually easier, you go and you say, look, this is what I've been doing here. This is how much this company's going to pay me to do it over there. Are you willing to match it? And if they say, yes, oh my God, we didn't realize you were doing all of this. Yes, let's adjust this right away. Then you got it. But look at that. You just got yourself $25,000, $30,000 a year more than what you had. Okay? And if not, then you go on over to the other place and still get your money. That's just the way it is. So, yes, hello world. Yes, you have a comment?
Oh, yes. I by Lake Merritt, and I'm a female manager.
You're breaking up, so we're missing a lot of what you're saying here.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, but it was like.
Oh my God! Hi. Hi Deb. I'm struggling with confidence really badly. I live by Lake Merritt. I'm like here.
In Oakland, okay.
Yeah, I am a female manager in San Francisco, Embarcadero, and I'm Black and I'm 27 years old.
Okay.
And I'm in the wine industry, and I was the manager, and the whole staff were mostly men, and like white and Latino men, and they really like harassed me. Up until the point of where I don't have any confidence in myself at work. And I just had a talk with my manager, and she can tell that I'm very disconnected and not happy. And I'm struggling with not second guessing myself, and not I feel like I really dumb myself down to all these men so that they wouldn't. Because when you're Black, you don't want them to think you're aggressive. But now I feel like
I don't give a shit about what they think. See, this is the problem right here. And I'm not angry at you. Okay, don't get me wrong. I'm not angry at you. I'm angry at them because A, you're Black. B, you're young, and C, you're a woman. So, they feel like they can gang up on you and that, this bullying you is okay. What is your manager doing about it?
I basically told her, I was like, one of the bartenders took a tray and slammed it in front of me and told me not to interfere and do anything at the bar. And she was like, "Oh, that's weird. I don't know why he did that." And then I started not to be on bar and I started asking people, "Oh, do you need help with anything?" And because now that I ask people, "Do you need help with anything?" Now they all think I'm incompetent and don't know what I'm doing. Like I just can't fucking win.
Okay, how old are these guys?
They are all 35 to 40.
Mm. So that's all she said. She did not approach them and talk to them at all.
No, and there was like 4 or 5 of them in the beginning, and like the other assistant manager was bullying. Like he was incredibly rude to me as well. He's from Marin, so and like he's like white and Asian, so of course like they respect him off the bat. Um, they were all getting frustrated with me, which led the assistant manager to get frustrated with me and to basically like talk shit about me to everybody.
Oh, so unprofessional.
Yeah, just
Okay. Are you still at this job?
yes, I am.
Do you want to stay at this job?
Um, as of right now, I think I don't like I want to be in the wine industry and I don't want to move to Napa because that's going to be even worse.
Yeah,
Um,
part of this is your age. I hate to tell you. Um, People just really have a hard time when that someone younger than them comes in knowing as much or more than they do. Especially men, they just can't take it. So, I mean, at some point, you're gonna have to put some bass in your voice, and I don't know with your personality type, but I'm just telling you what needs to happen. You give them, a command, an order, whatever, however you word it, and they give you some lip about it. Say, look, I'm the boss here. Did you forget? I'm the manager, not you. You're gonna do it because I told you to do it. Anytime you don't want to do what I have to say, then you can get out. There's plenty of people looking for work. It doesn't have to be you. Okay? Let me make myself clear here. So all this lip and all this little baby bullying stuff that you guys are doing, I'm tired of it, and we're not gonna have it. Anybody who doesn't do what I say, I'm gonna write you up, and the next thing you're gonna make sure that you're terminated. Now I'm not playing with you no more. Now that's what they would get from me.
because it's striking an equal balance because I don't like I'm getting to the point of where I want to take a wine bottle and like just bust it and like shank them and curse them out.
Oh
Like
my!
you know,
Oh my little protege.
I don't have a balance. Like I'm either just gonna be 100% aggressive or docile. Like I have to learn
Yeah,
that
you
balance.
cannot be docile at all, and just eliminate that from the from the equation completely. You're gonna be a broom riding bitch from starting tomorrow.
Yes.
You know what I mean? This is you played with them too long as it is. That's the kind of stuff You might get one day of that out of me as I get my footing. I'm gonna check everybody out and see what you rolling with and how you working, and then I'm gonna let the hammers coming down on you. But like I said, they keep saying, the disadvantage that you have is your youth. And I'm more in their age group, so I can talk shit to them and they gonna listen. But since you're so much younger than them, and that's the same problem I had when I first got to college. I went into a management position, and everybody in there was older than me, and they'd already been there, and I was the only black one too. And it was seriously challenging. It was rough. So I've been there. I understand, but I'm just from my experience. This is what I should have done. That I'm saying, with you, before you catch a case, you're gonna have to, step up and start using your voice. And so what? Be the angry black woman. Who cares? They're not paying you to not be. Okay, they're paying you to get stuff done. That's your job, to get stuff done. And anybody who doesn't do what they're supposed to be doing, getting stuff done, no longer to be employed there.
Yes, I completely agree, and I will definitely go in and be a bitch and
Yeah, and don't apologize for it. Don't even don't say excuse me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean none of those kind of timid words should ever come from your mouth ever again. I'm glad we're having this conversation. So you practice tonight and think about go over some of the stuff that you would say, and then any word that comes in your mouth that sounds like it's timid, hesitant, or anything like that. You eliminate that word and you come in there, put some bass in your voice, put your black woman attitude on, and go to work. That's what you need to do.
thank you so much. That I will definitely practice that. I'll get off the call right now.
Okay, okay. Oh, that pissed me off. I'm about to go catch a bar train and go to her job and help her beat that ass. I hate stuff like that. We've been through enough of that in my life with clowns trying to act stupid. That's right, oatmeal cream pie. Gotta nip that like quick. Whew, I tell you, and then for them to be men too, ain't gonna sit up there and try to bully one woman. See, I would have to talk shit to them about that. So, all you big strong men, it takes 4 of you to try to bully me. You think that's gonna work? I'm black. I've been bullied. My family, my generations, we've been bullied. You think this little bullshit here is gonna do something? This ain't nothing. You a joke, son. You a joke. You think somebody's intimidated by this little simple bullshit? Please. That's the kind of conversation they would get from me. Then they'd be like, we're quitting. I'm like, bye. Don't let the doorknob hit you where the good Lord split you. Waste of time, mother. Yeah, all that. But, I just hate to see them doing her like that. But I understand, girl. I've been there. Because when I started, let's see, I was only 24, 23. Yeah, they interviewed me like over months. So I think by the time I started working, I was 24. But, everybody else was like in their 40s. And, none of them had been to college either. So I come in there with my shiny degree and all full of piss and vinegar. And they were just like, whew. Princess is a savage. Well, she would be out of her job too, though. But I mean, if it comes to that, you could always set them up. That works too. But yeah, this is just trifling. But anyway, that is our show for tonight. I'm glad you guys came through and learned, what to do about your confidence. Is key to your success in work, your success in relationships, which is what we talk about all the time, and your success in just life in general. As a parent, every single thing that you do, if you don't do it with confidence and a belief in yourself and your abilities, your strengths, and a true understanding of where you're weak too, then but that's easily compensated for because you know that you're not that good at this other thing over here, or maybe you hire somebody to do that. Maybe your husband or is better at that thing, so you guys negotiate. So you switch off or something. There's ways around everything, but you have to really acknowledge who and what you are and what you have going on. So let's see. Tomorrow is our usual What the Fuck Tuesday. So come on in. We got some crazy advice letters. As usual, every week we do that every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And then on Wednesday, we're going to have Elliot back talking about his new book, how to get him to man up so you don't have to. How to get him to wear the pants so you don't have to. So women who feel like they have to do everything and make all the decisions and take care of everything because their man is just acts like a little kid, is just a hot mess. So then we have 3 days of upload videos, and then we're back for another live stream on the 27th. And then our final show, our finale on the 28th. I'm still looking for people to be on the panel. If I don't get enough people, then I guess I'll do something else. I have another show I can do. But traditionally we end it with a panel discussion on the 28th. And so you see I've got flowers there in the blank spots. But if not, then I'll come up with something. You know me. So in the meantime, you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and share a link or two. Don't have to be this one. And be here tomorrow for the What the Fuck Tuesday relationship advice. If you want to send in a letter, look in the show description of any of the videos. Just click the link and send in your letter. Those letters are all done in advance, no on the scene. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Bye bye.